Hello, YouTube family and friends. How are we doing today? Today, I want to talk about the most surprising thing I've learned from switching into my what I call ordained work, my assigned work from a corporate career. So, for context, for those of you who don't know, after my academic um, education, which was in business psychology and entrepreneurship and management, I got into consulting in what was then called innovation management. Okay, meaning I was appointed to going into companies and helping them build up new businesses from scratch. Help them come up with the ideas, and then literally um, work with them until this new business unit or this new startup entirely was in the market. So, because of that, both my academic background and my professional background, in which I worked for over 6 years. Okay, so all in all, over 10 years, I have spent with the material of business building, of entrepreneurship, of managing an enterprise, of literally building something from scratch, building a new business, building an organization, putting together teams, marketing the thing. You know what I mean? Literally for 11 years of my life, I was working with that material. Now, when I then, what is this, 2021, 2022? When I then switched into, I left that job and I switched into my own practice and I started consulting using the same consulting frameworks, but then started working more with creatives, with artists, with labels, with entertainment lawyers, like the whole spectrum, but everything was in the creative sphere. When I did that, my mission was still the same as when I entered my first job. I entered very with a very clear intention that I wanted to help other people build business. I wanted to help other people economically empower themselves. I wanted to help people bring the thoughts, the ideas, the visions that they had that are here to improve the world. I wanted to help them bring that to life. And I was going to learn all the processes, all the frameworks, all the structure, all the organizations required to do that. That has been my intention, that has been, the purpose, with like the mission with which I entered both my academic background and also the professional in the years after that, right? So even after I left, now this intention, this goal for me intensified. I was like, okay, I learned how to do this in a corporate environment with corporate clients. Now it's time to really put this to work and help my creatives, help my artists, help my heart led entrepreneurs, right? And when I switched into that work, now basically I left the the path that, I mean, I had already been in innovation management. I was always still obsessed with the new, right? But it was still an established system. I was working in a consulting firm. I was working at EY. I was working in a very traditional, conventional environment. So when I left that and was then left to my own devices, not just with me myself, but also with the clients now that I was like working with, that I was attracting, that I wanted, it now was a whole new world. And today, I want to share with you the most surprising thing that I learned from having made that transition, right? From working in corporate, from working in a more traditional environment, even though I liked what I worked on, I really did. I really, really did. But I didn't really like the system. I didn't really like the structure I was in, right? But I want to share with you the thing that came out the most surprisingly and that ended up shaping how I now approach my everyday life and also how I now work with my clients today. When you switch into your ordained work, when you switch into the type of work that you literally came to do, when you switch into your ordained work, all of a sudden, it does not matter what field you're in, it doesn't matter what area you're now stepping into, what industry, right? When you do that, your job description changes. Sounds very straightforward first, but let me walk you through what I actually mean and what I actually saw. Because what happened for me is the second I stepped into my own work and I was like, okay, now I'm stepping into this is not my path. I've been wanting to help my people. This is now I can fully like creatively I can come up with my own curriculum. I can come up with my own training programs. I can help heart-led entrepreneurs. I can help artists. I can help creatives. I can help anybody that's dedicated to pushing the right people forward for the planet, right? As soon as I started getting in there with that intention, and now my heart was more in it, all of a sudden, all the project manager skills, the strategizing, the planning, the putting a team together, setting milestones, going in iterations, getting feedback, taking in feedback, going to the next round, sort of like just like product development, literally, all of that went out the window. What? More than 10 years of my life, I have been studying this. I know how to do this. I've been doing this back to back to back to back to back. There is a track record of me building new businesses, business units, startups for these corporates. And then the second I had to do it for myself, it flew out the window. You know what happened instead? This wound came up to heal. That wound came up to heal. That wound came up to heal. Now I had to somehow figure out how to feel again, then how to master my emotions. How can I steer my own feelings? To then really learning how to just really work with myself, understand myself, and work with myself. Because up to that point, I had been pretty much just go, 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 make things work, function type of person. I'll talk about that more actually as we go. So it all flew out the window and these things came up. And what happened for me was I felt like, oh my God, like I'm behind. I should be working on my business. I should be doing XYZ, but instead I'm over here doing inner work. Instead, I'm here healing. Instead, I'm here figuring myself out. Instead, I'm here learning how I can not only soothe myself, but really master myself in a way where it doesn't matter what's happening around me, and all the challenge that come with that, all the circumstantial things that are brought into your world so you can learn that from all of that happening as well. And I was just like, I'm behind. I should be doing this, but here I am doing that. And it always felt like I was in between these two worlds until one day it dawned on me. One day it dawned on me that it wasn't that I was meant to work on this thing. And then on the side, the reality is that I'm working on myself and I'm doing inner work. It dawned on me that with doing this inner work, with figuring out myself and getting myself straight, and I'll get more into detail, figuring myself out and getting my life straight, my health straight. I was deep in it. I was deep in the work that I was meant to do. I was not behind. I was deep. I was right where I needed to be. I was doing right the exact things I was meant to do. Because in your ordained work, in the work that is assigned to you, the work that you came to do and to give into the world, in that work, inner work is not separate from your work. It is one and the same. And this notion of these two things being separate, your inner work and your work on yourself, and the work, whatever work that is, This notion only functions with an occupation or a career that is not yours. Only works with an occupation or career that you are in. Maybe you're drawing something very valuable from it, right? But it's someone else's. You're executing somebody else's task, which most of us are in the way society is set up currently. So if you have that, right? If you are working on somebody else's, there's no judgment here, right? 'Cause I'm just trying to give you like the matter of fact lens. Then you can look at these things as separate and your own personal private work. But soon as you step in to your assigned work, into your purpose work, into that which has been ordained to you, then the work on you is the work on it. And the work on it is the work on you. Now these things are one and the same. And so very clearly, at some point I was seeing that, oh my God, I'm not behind. I'm not behind. I'm right where I need to be. I have been learning the exact things that I had to learn. Things that look like distractions, things that look like I was behind, I was thrown behind, they were all sent to form my character, my skills, my way of seeing things, right? So now I can see very clearly that, and it has been the most surprising thing that I've, learned from having made this transition. It's when you step into your ordained work, when you step into your assigned work, the job description changes. Now, what do I mean by that specifically when I say the job description changes? In my example, when I stepped into my own practice and I started consulting my own clients in my own way, right? Um, I approached this with the old mentality that I always had, that I have been trained in, of strategy, planning, executing. Strategy, planning, executing. Checking within where we are in terms of our progress. Okay. Adjusting any delays. Project management, proper project management. So I have been approaching my new life, my new work with that. And what I found is just like as a learning to pass on to you guys now, that shit doesn't work. It does not work. It does not work. Don't get me wrong. All of these things are a blessing if you know how to do it and if you know how to do it at the right time, at the right point, with the correct intentions, like with the correct with the appropriate expectation of what you want out of it. A blessing. A blessing to have. Having had this background is a blessing to have. That's why all of you guys who are listening, who are in traditional roles or have been working in more traditional jobs, whatever that means, all the skills that you have learned, I'm not telling you that they have become obsolete. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that I, for myself, learned that relying on that only is not going to get my actual work, my purpose work, where it needed to be. And you know why that is? Do you know why that is? That is because in your assigned work and your purpose work, it's leaving out the most important aspect. And the most important aspect of your purpose work is you. Is you. It's you. The aspect of you. Something is trying to come out into this world through you. You have been chosen by this thing, whatever it is, because you bring together the most appropriate, the most ideal traits, characteristics, talents, interests that can actually bring this to fruition. And not only that, By pursuing it, by executing it within you, your highest faculties are activated, which we as humans then tend to experience as the highest form of inspiration, the highest form of fulfillment, the most fun. It's the ingrained win-win-win design of our original architecture, of our original design, right? This is what it's made up like. So when we step into this work, the job description changes. And what I found is that, as I said, the old approach did not work anymore because why? It was leaving out the most important factor, which was me or is you, right? What we have to remember always when we are working with our ordained work, when we were stepping into the work that we were sent to do, something is trying to come out through us. We are the host. We are the host. We are the vessel. So now, when I say the job description changes, this is what I'm talking about. The job description is not anymore the strategizing, planning, execution, and all the other technical stuff. You will have to do that anyway. But you have been doing that over the past years. That's not even a problem for you. It's not an area, it doesn't have to be an area of worry if you don't want it to. You know how to do those things. You know how to do those things. So, what it is instead is understanding ourselves as the vessel, understanding ourselves as the host of this genius, of this thing that is trying to come through. So, when I say the job description changes, this is what I'm talking about. For me, practically, what did that mean? As I said already, I had to take inner work and healing to a completely different level. I had to take it absolutely serious. At some point, I then found, I could, whatever happened, I could sit and feel like a victim and feel so sad. I could do that. But at some point, I realized that if I keep doing this, I'm just not going to get ahead. So I'm going to have to fix this somehow. So then I could also ignore how I felt and just kept ignoring it and just keep adding more. And I'm like, oh, like I'm doing this for a bigger purpose. It doesn't matter how I feel. I just, it's so important. I just need to push this through. The world needs it. I could remain in that mindset and like prolonging my own suffering. But then at some point I had to be like, okay, listen, I'm not really getting ahead. I think it's time for me to deal with it and properly deal with it. So this process really forced me to really heal, to really find access to myself. Not just saying, yeah, yeah, I'm going to do it and then I'm just going to keep ignoring myself again. No. And you know what that meant? Many times it meant that I had to choose. Not had to, I did. Because I realized that I had to, if I really wanted to be serious about this, I had to choose between doing things how I've always done them, even though, because this voice was telling me you have to hustle through. I could either believe in that and continue to do that, or I could make the choice, the very brave choice. And I have to give myself this credit of saying, okay, I'm going to drop it. I'm going to see how I feel. And I'm going to go with that. And at that point in my life, it was revolutionary. It was a very revolutionary because, as I said, I will actually talk about this more, but it was revolutionary because I had always went with functioning up until that point, just functioning, making sure things worked, right? So I could make that choice, and then I started making that choice more and more and more. So when I say the job description changes, this is what I mean. The job description is now you, how you feel, how you feel physically, mentally, spiritually. Now these things are not a luxury anymore. In the old paradigm, it is a luxury because, things still function. So why, so now this must be a luxury. But in this work now, it's not a luxury anymore. It's a necessity. You cannot move on without that. How you feel mentally, physically, spiritually, on all levels, now is a necessity. Now is the strategy. Because you know why? When you're working in your purpose job, when you're working in your purpose and you're bringing out something that has been ordained, you're a channel. You're now channeling. Your job is now to channel and to bring out the correct thing. And when we let the old paradigm interfere too much, that is telling us you have to plan, you have to strategize. If things don't go correctly, oh my God, I'm going to feel so guilty. I'm going to feel so ashamed that I'm not good enough. And we let this programming go and go and go and go and go. Two things will happen. You will drag, will burn out, or second thing, we can end up building the wrong thing. We'll end up building the wrong thing because we are, applying a framework. And it's not to say that it doesn't work, but what are we trying to make work? Are we trying to do just another thing, just another job in the world? Or are we actually bringing something out that is trying to come through us? Two different realms of existence, of being, of working. So that's what I mean with the job description changes when you step into your purpose work. And the job description that is changing is the lens is now, or like you are in the center of the lens. It's you. And how you feel mentally, physically, spiritually is not a luxury anymore, is now a necessity. So if that is you currently, if you have been stepping into the job that has been calling you, if you have been stepping into, it doesn't even have to be a full job, but if you notice yourself, taking whatever you feel inside more serious, and you're starting to pursue it. And I'm traumatized from, don't even get me started. It's all good. If you are stepping into that, and you are listening to that pull inside you now with more sincerity, and you're now allocating more energy, more resources, and more just more of a conviction to it. Um, and at the same time, you feel like it's just too much, like it's just too much to do. You feel like you're basically burning out, like it's not moving, even though you're putting so much of your energy into it, into making everything work and like strategizing everything and planning, and things are just not falling into place as they should. You know what I mean? I have one thing for you uh that you can walk away with today. I want you to try one thing, right? If you are in that situation, I want you to try this one counterintuitive thing. When you are trying to stride ahead with whatever is calling you, but it feels like it's overwhelming and you don't even know how to do it, I want you to do this one counterintuitive thing, not to do more of that, but to look at yourself and look at what you need right now. hmm Look at what you need. Look at what you need right now. And then here's a revolutionary thing. Give yourself that. Give yourself that. Give yourself that. Give yourself that. And hopefully, with this message today, my intention has been to give you more of a glimpse into how this work on yourself, which really is loving and honoring yourself, how that is not a luxury. It's not separate from the work that you came to do here. It's one. It's one and the same thing. If you do that for yourself, you do it for the thing. And when you do it for the thing, you do it for the planet. It starts with you. It starts with you looking out for you. It starts with you looking after you. It starts with you protecting you, right? And not looking at it as a luxury. So if you are feeling that way right now, I want you to look at yourself, into yourself, and see what you need right now. And the counterintuitive thing to do is to then give it to yourself, and not just give it to yourself half-heartedly while you're still thinking about, 10 other projects. Like, give it to yourself with the same intensity as you would. That sounds crazy. um give that to yourself with the same whatever, with the same intensity, as you would be approaching, at a job, at your job, at a company right now, because it has the same standing, if not the greater standing. Okay, you guys, that was today's message. Hope you can work with it. I'll be seeing you guys on Friday. If you like this message, you can like and comment on it and even share the thing and help us spread the message. I appreciate you guys. See you soon.